Existence is a beautiful thing. Existence is the cardinal trait of Atman. The Atman continues to exist beyond the confines of space and time. Now, existence, for the most part, can be used interchangeably as conscience or consciousness. However, the capability of intention and capability of intellect are the firstfold derivatives of consciousness that need to unfold in further vectors of manifestation. So, unmanifest state, the Atman or the soul exists. In the unmanifest state, when it is heightened sort of existence, we call it consciousness or awareness. So, you can exist without being aware of your existence, or you can exist and still be aware of that existence. So, existence with awareness is consciousness. Now, whether you exist or whether you have consciousness, that depends on the quality of the soul. A pebble, a rock, has the same level of existence as the most realized yogi or the enlightened being. However, the level of consciousness is extremely dumbed down in the rock or the pebble. It is jad, whereas we call the consciousness to be chetan or having awareness. So you can exist and be aware of your existence, aka conscious, at the same time, and that is the purpose of human life, to increase the awareness of self-existence. Now come to the points where Indriyani paranande param mana manasastu para buddhayo buddhe partastu sa, where in chapter 3 Krishna talks about the breeding grounds of desire, which are senses, mind and intellect. So in the breeding grounds of desire, you have to, for desire to unfold, there has to be the space warp, the time-space warp. So there has to be a cardinal of time and there has to be a cardinal of field or space. So this is where manifestation happens. This is where creation or shrishti happens. When Krishna talks about avyaktadini bhutani vyaktam madhyani bharata avyakta nidhananyev tatra ka paridevana, he is referring to the ephemeral, transient stages of creation. The creation can happen both for your body as a jiva bhuta, biological living body that you and I are today, as well as for the universe, when we call it shrishti or srijan, which is the genesis of the universe. But avyaktadini bhutani vyaktam madhyani bharata avyakta nidhananyev tatra ka paridevana teaches you that everything is unmanifest in the beginning, transiently in the central portion becomes manifest, and then again merges into the black hole of nothingness or unmanifest. So even if you are not manifest, you still exist. That is the beauty of Atman or the soul, the spirit as some people call it. So the space-time warp only guarantees the transient middle path. That is why this space-time warp is nothing but nature. This is the playground of the gunas, the influencing associations. And this is where the chitta or the consciousness comes in as prana, the high vibrant energy. But the Mahaprana or the ultimate mother potentiality that gives rise to all forms of biological life, as well as the Mahabhuts, fire, earth, air, water, ether, all of them will unfold back into the greatness of the unmanifest eventually. So, space time warp is a place where the consciousness or the awareness can get curious. And when it generates curiosity, it can generate desire. When it generates desire, then comes Indriyani, Man, and Buddhi. Then come those three things which are required or said to be the playgrounds of the desire. So again, understand the sequence very well, because this sequence is how you will go back to the Godhead. You will go back to the Paramatman, the supreme, undivided potentiality that exists even when everything is destroyed. And that is Paramatman. And we all have a sector of it as Atman. So the supreme potentiality within all of us, the Atman, is of course monitored by the Paramatman, like a child is monitored by his parent within all of us while we are here, so that the account of karma can be created. Account of karma can only be created in the manifest world. So that's why when pralaya or destruction happens, and if your karma hasn't been resolved, everything will freeze in the status quo, and in the next cycle of Srishti, everything will start from where they left. And that is how the unrealized souls continue to exist cycle after cycle, unless they have been released into the akasha of enlightenment, into the akasha of the aware unmanifest that we call Paramatman, the unity of Paramatman. So, in order to exist, you do not require space and time. Space and time is required when consciousness generates curiosity, aka desire, and then it creates all these portions of Prakriti which are thought to be enhancements over the Atman or the Chitta, which is the core kernel of our existence. So, let's understand the sequence. First, there is existence, Atman. It also has a component of consciousness, which we call Chetana or conscience. Both these are cardinal traits of the soul, existence and awareness of the existence or consciousness. Now, once you are aware, there comes a split portion where there is curiosity to know more or to create more to know more. There is nothing to know more, so why not create a manifest cobweb, entanglement around us so that we can wander more. Just like a spider will weave a cobweb so that it can move around more, and in the end it will swallow its entire cobweb. Similarly, the conscience creates curiosity and hence desires to play around, and then it will engulf everything within itself, including the space-time warp. So the question, when was Atman born, where was Atman born, can never be answered, because Atman is predating and pre-located before space and time was created. So existence becomes awareness or consciousness. Consciousness, the moment it generates curiosity, they have permeated from the realm of unmanifest to the realm of manifest or sansar, shrishti, creation. So this is where the consciousness generates curiosity. The curiosity or desire generates an intention. I need to come here and play around here. The sankalpa. The intellect is generated from the intention, and the intellect gives rise to the mind. The mind gives rise to the senses. So that's why the last three, the senses, mind and intellect, are said to be the breeding grounds of desire. And desire is what is rajas. and rajas is the guna that veils the knowledge of the sattva. And hence the whole story of samsara, gunas influencing association unfolds. So understand, my friends, that space-time warp is needed only for activity to unfold. And the unfolder of the activity itself is Paramatman, who comes and breaks itself into millions, billions of these fragments called Atmans and imparts a prana, or the moving vehicle of potentiality, to form these different biological forms and continue activity in this samsara until destruction happens and everything freezes in the status quo. Everything is distilled, sublimed and liberated as the Atman without karma bandhan is trapped in the Karan Sharir, and hence it will remain there quiescent, dormant until the next cycle of Vyaktam Madhyani Bharata or manifestation happens, so that the taking of time and space happens, so that there can be further activity going on. So this is the sequence in which the unmanifest world becomes the manifest world, the chitta becomes the prana, and of course during the course it gains that ego or sense of identity, so that it can continue to maintain its physical integrity for the portion of duration that it does maintain that in the samsara. Hence the concept of ahamkara or me. But once you don't have that concept of me as being different from the other particles around you, aham brahmasmi, you become the Brahma, because you have lost your identity as a raindrop. You have merged into the ocean. Hence, you are the ocean. You are not distinct from the ocean. So, my friends, this was a very important concept that I needed to share with you about the unmanifest world becoming the manifest world and taking as activity in the vectors of space and time, both of which are dissolved and warped off once there is destruction or pralaya, until the next cycle begins again. Our existence as Atman is always there, whether we want to grow it as consciousness or awareness. The Chetana is totally up to us, and that happens through the power of introspection, because extrospection is for curiosity, distraction, karma bandhan. Introspection is for the negation of the karma bandhan vasanas, so that you can go into the nirgun Brahman, that is your ultimate potential power in the unmanifest, and which remains even when you are manifest. So constantly go back and meditate and introvert yourself and try to enjoy the beauty within yourself by closing your eyes every day for 5-10 minutes and doing dhyana to the best of your ability. Jai Shri Ram.